and how to lose and how to choose.
Well, hello, this is Linda Carbonell from Walking Through Life. Today I have, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask your name.
I'm Chelsea Williams from WISE.
From WISE. And you would just say what WISE stands for?
WISE actually doesn't stand for anything. We, a long time ago, were a career resource center for women, and it stood for Women's Information Services. But now are a domestic and sexual violence agency. And we know that anybody can be a victim of domestic or sexual violence. So WISE is just that I'm a very wise person.
That's true.
Yeah.
So talking about supporting women that have been abused or neglect or whatever.
Sure.
What's some of the things that you can help women with, especially when they're so scared, you know,
Yeah, sure.
this is going on?
So we support and advocate for victims and survivors in a number of ways, really in ways that whatever it is that makes sense for them. So that could mean coming and talking with an advocate and just having someone to listen to them and believe them and really sort of be a nice person there with them. We'll do safety planning with people if they're in a really unsafe situation. Can sometimes help them get legal support if they need to go to the police station or the courthouse. We'll go to the hospital with people if they've been physically or sexually assaulted. We have a number of support groups and different ways for people to connect with WISE. So, you know, we have a regular drop-in support group. We have a yoga group. We've had a writers group. So we have a lot of different ways for people to come to WISE and feel safe and connect with their community, really.
I want to talk a little bit about the safety plan. What's involved in the safety plan?
Sure. So safety planning, it sounds really official, but really is just about listening to someone's situation, asking them, you know, what are their safety concerns, and then trying to figure out ways that they can stay safe in their life, and just being really creative and brainstorming different options that might be available to them. And so sometimes that might mean getting a restraining order or trying to apply, you know, for a protective order. Sometimes you know, it could mean changing your cell phone number or changing your P.O. box or whatever it is, but really there isn't a set plan for each person. It's just sort of based on, you know, whatever they're telling you, whatever they are feeling concerned about.
Because I would imagine sometimes when you're in a trauma situation like that, looking at a safety plan is just like, how?
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm sure it's nice to have somebody there to support you and
And
maybe give ideas.
Yeah, and some, you know, maybe we're not saying, okay, we're going to create a safety plan, but instead just, you know, what are some things that we can think about to try to keep you safer, to try to help you feel a little bit safer in your situation right now. So.
And we're talking a little bit about women that don't have a safe place to go.
Right.
That you had some.
Yeah, we do have a shelter that is in a confidential location. So if there's somebody who's fleeing an abusive relationship or, you know, is unsafe and doesn't have a safe place to stay, we can house them. And we also do emergency shelter after hours. So if there was somebody, you know, in the middle of the night who was in a really unsafe situation, we could house them, you know, for an emergency time being after hours as well.
So all this sounds really good for WISE, but in order for WISE to run, you have to have volunteers.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
So we want to talk about what is available for volunteering.
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of people would be interested.
Yeah, we, so one of our probably most critical services that we offer is our 24-hour crisis line. So people can, you know, connect with a real live advocate 24 hours a day and will respond either over the phone or at police stations or hospitals at all hours of the day. And we have advocates who respond to the crisis line during our sort of program hours during the day. And then after hours, we switch over to volunteers, which is pretty amazing. We train community members to be advocates on our crisis line after hours. And so that, you know, volunteers get a pager, they're on call from home, so, you know, they can sort of do it safely from home and comfortably. And if anyone calls a crisis line, they most of the time are having a conversation with them, offering them information, resources, being supportive. Or, you know, it could mean going out somewhere in the middle of the night if somebody is at a police station or someone's at the hospital. So.
But you don't naturally go into somebody's home.
No, yeah, we wouldn't ever go to anyone's home.
Yeah.
We'd only ever meet anyone at those two places. And we have a really wonderful group of volunteers, and are always looking for more, obviously. And most volunteers take about 2 shifts a month, and people feel that's pretty manageable to be on call twice a month. You know, there's some days when you don't have any calls, and you sort of sit around waiting for one, and then there are some days when that's not what's happening. So
You can get quite a few.
yeah, sure. Or you can be at the hospital for hours or whatever it is. But it's really important work. And I think one of the amazing things about our volunteer program is that we are training the community to support each other. You know, we train the community to support ourselves and each other. And that there are people who want to do this is really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us really like to see anybody hurt, and
Yeah.
if we can be supportive in any way, I think that's something that I think most people would really enjoy, knowing
Sure.
that they're able to contribute something.
Sure. And a lot of the times, you know, people either have people in their life that they really want to support, but they just don't know how and are sort of lost and don't know what to do. And so, you know, that's sort of also what the training is about, so that you can be a support person when you're on call for WISE, but also just all the time. You can be doing these things for people.
That's good. What's some of the? I mean, is that the only volunteer opportunities that WISE have?
That's our primary volunteer
Yeah.
opportunity. There, you know, are a number of other ways that people can engage with WISE. We always have community events and educational opportunities, or sort of try to be out and about as much as we can. And we do have different training opportunities throughout the year, but that's our primary volunteer piece at
Do you
this
have
point.
fundraisers that people might be able to help out with?
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, different events.
Yeah,
things
I like to
that.
go out and make posters and
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And we do have, you know, there have been some people who have really specific skills and passions that want to bring that to WISE. So we have one woman who went through our volunteer training and then is now what we call our economic empowerment advocate, and she meets with women to work on their resumes and find
nice.
jobs
Yeah.
and sort of get, you know, the financial piece squared away, which is really wonderful. We have somebody who volunteers and teaches yoga for us. We have a volunteer who does all of our graphic design work. So there are definitely ways for people to bring their skills
right.
to WISE. Yeah.
And I know you do some fundraisers, so I think it's important for people also to see that during that time is another good time to not only go out and have fun, but also support
Sure.
such a wonderful program as WISE.
Sure.
Yeah.
And actually April is
Ooh,
Sexual
April.
Violence Awareness Month.
Mhm.
And so we have a number of events happening. And so if people are interested in attending, they can visit our website or give us a call. And yeah, we have a lot going on in April.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So are you going to have it CATV there, or are you going to
We
do
would-
some filming?
Yeah,
or-
we would love to have CATV at a few of our events. Yeah, the more people, the better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's a goal, is to, you know, see if we can't get somebody to go up there and film some of these events.
Sure.
I think, you know,
Sure.
if not anybody here, I could bring a camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good for the
We all have
camera.
our smartphones. We could.
Well, that's a good
Yeah,
idea too.
yeah. Try to.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Sure.
But I think bringing awareness to it, maybe by doing this show, and I know CATV offers promos and PSAs too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think by you being able to do that too, you might be able to bring a little information, especially about your fundraisers and
Yeah.
the ways that people can help.
Sure.
Because if I know of the community around me, we all like to be helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and everybody has a passion about one thing that they really want to advocate for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually the thing they want to focus on, and there's so many people that want to focus on helping women be strong and, you know, pull through all the trauma that they've been through.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
and it's programs like WISE actually that's helped me out so much in my life. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And we, you know, we have a really vibrant prevention and education program where we're really sort of doing just that, and hopefully providing skills to the whole community, men
Yeah.
and women and kids, and on, yeah, really how to have healthy and strong and safe relationships in communities. And so our prevention education program, like I said, has trainings throughout the year that people can get involved in. And sometimes it's just about educating yourself and what can I
Exactly,
do
yeah.
to have safe and healthy relationships, and how can I model those for the young people in my life, or just whoever in my life. So I would definitely encourage people to keep track of what we're up to.
So do you do those trainings a lot?
We try, well, so we have we have a very active schools program, and we do a lot of youth
good.
prevention and education, and then try to do community education, as often as we can, and offer. Throughout the year we have different trainings for people to participate in. And then we also have a really great Facebook page where we're always
nice.
posting either articles or, current events that are happening that we want to, get involved in the conversation, or we'll have, different prevention articles, or just, try to provide information education that way as well.
And I think that would be wonderful to put this show maybe on there too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
People would love seeing that on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll link.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll link
put
it
the
up there.
Yeah, sure. We try to also keep people in touch with what we're doing and what's
I
going
think
on
this is
at Wise.
a great way to do it too, is to come on Walk Into Life and just talk about what's coming up.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure there's a lot of things, and I'm sure there's a lot of needs. I don't know whether food or clothing or if just telephone supports.
Yeah, the crisis line is probably our biggest need. But we also, we have lots of times sororities at Dartmouth will do like donation drives for us.
Yeah,
and people
see?
will bring lotions and shampoo and just sort of basic necessities for people. And there are other resources in the Upper Valley that do the food and clothing, which is great. And so, but we can supplement and offer other things also.
Well, I know for me, when I was in a scary situation, that it was like I couldn't take nothing with me.
Right.
So it's just me and the clothes that I had on my back at the time,
Right.
And luckily where I was at, they had a safe place to go.
Right.
So that's why it was, it was like a shelter, and it was really nice that people were there to support me, and I felt safe,
Yeah. That's
but I
huge.
also felt like I didn't have my stuff. So it was nice to see that people in the community were bringing in stuff that, that I could wear.
Yeah, of course. And also just like, having good shampoo and
Exactly.
like lotion and things like that to make us feel good
Yeah.
is really important. Yeah, so we always appreciate when Dartmouth does that for us,
Yeah.
or whoever.
Yeah, I think that's great that the Dartmouth students do that. I think that's wonderful. We can all do a little something towards something. Yeah. My favorite thing was eating popcorn. Now, when I went there, they always had the popcorn ready.
Yeah.
So, and they had one of those big popcorn machines.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, we have a lot of snacks around at Wise.
But I think the support groups were important too, because
Yeah.
it's a lot like your peers. Like women are there because they've gone through the same things that you've gone through,
Right.
and you build a bond with each other. I think.
Right.
And I can see that's probably what happens at Wise too.
Yeah, and it's nice, I think, just to know that you're in a safe space and know that you're in a community of people who believe you and trust you and who want to support you and be there for you. And so, the support groups just, I think, give another opportunity for survivors to connect and find community amongst, ourselves and each other.
Yeah. And I just think I think it's great, and I think it's great that we do have the safety net for people,
Yeah. It's a
whether it is women,
necessity.
children, or whoever,
Right.
And we as a community can be responsible of being able to be helpful,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to really care about somebody on the phone, talk to them, and, we could feel a little bit better,
Yeah. And,
And it also gets yourself like a reward feeling, like, like, oh, I did something good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And, just sort of statistically, we know that so many people are affected by domestic and sexual violence that, it's just so, we, Wise, last year alone, worked with 1,300 different people in the Upper Valley, which is pretty incredible. And so I think, just being able to know that this isn't happening to people over there or other people, but it's happening like in our community, it's happening in our neighborhood, it's happening in our homes, with our family members. And so, yeah, it's not, it's something that we can all really be prepared to sort of take on.
I wanted to ask too, I should have asked this in the beginning though. How long has WISE been going?
40 years, over 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
know.
long time.
I
That's
know. It is good.
That's
It's really good.
so needed.
Yeah. And
for
we've
sure.
evolved and grown so much over the years, which
Yeah.
is, really incredible to be a part of.
Well, I know I'd like to not only do this show, but I'd like to do more shows if I could. Like
Sure.
maybe like when you're going to have a fundraiser or something,
Yeah.
you can come and talk about that. and-
Sure.
yeah.
We'll invite you to the fundraiser,
Yeah.
invite you to the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't have a car, so I'd have to find a way.
Okay.
If it's during the
Transportation is
day.
tricky in the Upper Valley.
It is tricky.
It is.
It's tricky.
I mean, in all seriousness, we actually see that as a really big barrier for people either getting to WISE or getting
Yeah.
to where they need to go, just because, either they don't have a car, or they don't have reliable transportation, or they
Right.
don't drive. That's a big barrier for people we're supporting.
Absolutely, and I don't know if they have. I know some places have volunteers, drivers that help people out.
Yeah.
But I think with WISE, that would be a little bit of a
Yeah,
safety.
we're not quite able to do that.
Yeah.
But we do, again, we're trying to brainstorm and think creatively about how to get people where they need to go and, using the resources that they might already have or, trying to figure it out. But transportation can be challenging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I know with me, thank goodness I got the advanced special bus because, my back and stuff. So they take me pretty much anywhere within reason.
Yeah.
So
is-
that's good for me.
Yeah.
It helps out a lot. But that might be one of the alternatives too, if you
Right.
have people that are disabled in some form.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always.
There's different. I think there's different options.
Sometimes it's just a matter of helping someone, sift through all the different options and trying to find what one works best for them.
So the people that work with the women, are they like case managers or?
We actually have advocates. This is sort of our title, which is, it feels maybe similar to a counselor, but we actually work from the empowerment model, which is a little bit different. And so really believe that people are the expert on their own lives and can make the best decisions for themselves when they have all the information. When they're in a safe and supportive place to do so, they can really make the best decisions for themselves. And then our job as advocates is to provide that information, to provide education and insight, and then support you through your decision making. So it's a little bit different, but we find that it works really, really well, and people really appreciate it.
Yeah, I would think it'd be helpful with still being independent. And,
Right.
finding a
Right.
solution to your life's problem.
Right. And we know, when it comes to domestic and sexual violence, the goal of the perpetrator is to have power and control
Yeah,
over their
exactly.
victim. They want all the power and control. And so our job as advocates is to try to transfer all of that power and control back to you, that you are, and you can make these decisions. You're totally capable. And that it wouldn't be fair of me to make decisions for you, because then I would have all of the power and control.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's really, working to give power and control back to someone who's been so robbed of that.
I think I just really think that's important.
Yeah, it is.
It must be scary though for somebody that's had somebody that was in so much power of their lives, or they had control or whatever, to move
Right.
from that into a safety. I can make my own decision.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's really scary and feels maybe impossible at
Yeah.
first. Feels really hard.
But you
Yeah,
can do it.
you can totally do it. Yeah, because often, that person has been in control and also, told them that you're not capable of doing this. No one's going to
Exactly.
believe you. You're stupid. You are crazy and whatever it is. And so, yeah, hearing that over and over again, you start to believe it.
Right.
And so it's our job to remind people that you're awesome and you're capable, and I can stand here next to you while you make these really tough decisions. Yeah.
Well, that's just like, what I think, a lot of people, themselves hasn't really talked about, the trauma or the things that how they moved on or anything like that. But from what I understand, what you're describing to me is so important. I can say I use that not in my situation there, but I use that in my recovery from my mental illness. It's like I came out, it's like I faced my challenges, and then I made a decision to overcome them. So it was a process, and I think by giving back the power to the person and their steps out of their comfort zone,
Sure.
and it's very empowering.
Sure.
Very empowering.
Yeah. We love the empowerment model. It works well.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing great work up there.
Thank you. Yeah. It's great. It's a wonderful organization to work for and to be a part of. It's an honor to, I think, really do this work. It's an honor to sit with people and be there with them and be someone who believes them. I love the prevention work. I love working with young people about talking about relationships and how can we do this right and safely. It's great. I feel really lucky that I get to wake up and go to WISE every day. Something that I feel strongly about personally and professionally, which is, I think, not everyone is that lucky to get to do that.
Get to do what you really want.
Right. Yeah.
It's so important. It makes you want to move beyond where you're at to get there, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of what happened with me. Being stuck here at one point, just saying, I don't want to be like this anymore.
Right.
But I can't go there, so you have to find steps to get from here to there, but you do it slow.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of us find, is that it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Even though you may think so or somebody's told you that, it's not impossible.
And that you have people who want to be there for you.
Exactly. Well, you can have support along the way, which would make it easier.
Right.
You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. Right. You don't have to. That's our huge message, is that you don't have to do this alone. We never obviously force anybody to work with us, because again, they can choose if they want to work with us or not, but that you don't have to go through this alone if you don't want to, and that we really want to go through this with you if we can be there for you.
It's got to be very rewarding to see women that have maybe taken that courageous step to asking for help, because that can be very hard.
So hard.
Very hard, yeah.
Really hard. For a number of reasons, it can be really hard too. We sort of already talked about how perpetrators are really good at making sure that no one's going to believe you and you're crazy. And they're also really good at isolating you from your friends and family, so you don't have anybody around that's sort of countering the things that they're saying, and you don't have anyone to go to. They are great at making sure that maybe you don't have a car or transportation or access to money. And so really making it, not only feel impossible, but actually is really difficult for you to get anywhere or, to even think about calling anybody. And so, making the first call to WISE is a huge step. Or walking through the doors is huge.
Yeah. Well, thank gosh we got WISE. Thank goodness.
Yeah. WISE and we're part of a state coalition in New Hampshire and Vermont.
Good.
And so we have sister organizations all over, both states, and so each county should have an organization just like WISE that's there to support them.
I'm just amazed at how far our knowledge of programs like WISE and our knowledge of how we can be helpful towards others, even though we may think, I don't want to say anything wrong.
Right.
Especially
with this issue.
And you can get training for that, so
Right.
Because often people are afraid. I don't know if I want to say anything because it might upset them.
Well, and we've learned, I think, our cultural norms are really that this is a private issue. This is something we don't talk about.
Yeah,
this is personal. We're not going to get in the middle of it.
Right.
And so, again, our culture is set up so that victims feel like, I can't talk to anyone about this because I'm not supposed to. These aren't things I'm supposed to talk about. Again, just it being such a challenge to be able to call. Yeah.
And can we give their WISE's phone number so if people want to
Yes.
get more information, they can call you?
Our crisis line that's available 24 hours a day is 1-866-348-WISE, and the numbers for WISE are 9473. And so, yeah, that rings right in our office during the day, and then we'll go to an advocate after hours, and people can call whenever they want.
Is that the same number you call if you want to volunteer?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
we can connect you through from that number. You can visit our website, which is wiseoftheuppervalley.org, and then again look for us on Facebook.
WISE on Facebook.
Yeah, and there's just all good ways to keep in touch with what we're doing and with what's going on. And also just our website has a lot of really good information about services that are available for victims and survivors, gives some really good information about the dynamics of domestic and sexual violence. So if people don't want to talk to an advocate but have internet access, maybe can look at some things on our website.
I think that's important too, to have that option so that
Sure.
before you make the plan that this might be something that I want. Let's check it out. See what the progress might be, because
Right.
it can be so scary to
What-
make that that first step.
Yeah, absolutely. And or maybe, don't have an opportunity to get to a phone or,
Yeah.
sort of, again, safety can be an issue. And so whatever, if we can get the information out there as many ways, different ways as possible, then hopefully people can find one that works for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much for coming
Thank you.
today, and you've taught me so much more. I didn't realize that there was volunteer training and
Yeah.
the needs for volunteers.
Maybe we'll see you at a volunteer training.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Depends on where it is and if I can get there.
Yeah, so actually our volunteer trainings happen at WISE.
Oh,
And we have 3 trainings a year. They're 30 hours, which is required by the state. It gives you privileged communication, which means that all your communication with people contacting WISE is completely confidential. So it does that, and also really gives you the skills and information to be an advocate.
Right.
And training is a really, most people are sort of like, oh my gosh, 30 hours, but then at the end are always bummed that it's over. So
Yeah, it's over,
it goes by quick.
Yeah, I found that too. I took a training through HRS, peer support training,
Oh, okay.
dialogue with voices, and
Yeah.
I was kind of dreading that 3 days worth of training, But afterwards, it's like, I can't believe it's over. I want to do it again.
Yeah, right. And you make these really wonderful connections with the other
Yeah.
training participants,
Yeah.
and you take in some really challenging information and work through it together. It's always a really beautiful group process, and definitely one of my favorite parts of my job, being able to talk about these issues with people who want to know what they can do and how they can be a good support person.
I think it's important that we have those options too, to be able to do that and feel good about what we're doing.
Right, right.
So I do want to thank you for being here today, and I'm
Thank
hoping
you.
you'll come back.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to come back.
Yeah, and you can give a shout out for people there and say, see us on Facebook.
Yeah, so see us on Facebook, facebook.com/WiseUV.
There you go.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time on Walking Through Life. Bye-bye.